Hello, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to give a couple of minutes to everybody else that's out here. Thank you, guys. Let's see. Where are we at? We're live. I had to delay us about 30 minutes. So I do apologize for that. We had to have room service up in here in this hotel. You know how those things go. And I said, you know what? Instead of trying to come back later, we have a long stream sometimes. So it's better to do it now. And they be coming at random times. It's so weird. But you guys are watching Head and Shoulders ATR. And this is Athletics and Chill. Remember, we have Athletics and Chill. It happens every week. Last week we had it on Friday. This week we have it on Saturday. I play around with the times and the days so we can see if we could get more or less participation in trying to figure out when is the best time to have this. Sometimes we're just going to do it, right? But we're trying to figure out what this is. But if you are here, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are on the planet. If you're seeing this on the replay, like always, you can play it on 2x speed. Because a lot of people, they're like, oh my goodness, 2 hours. Just play it on 2x speed. Do something else in the background. Sometimes you need to look at the screen and sometimes you don't. So don't forget to check out our last episode of Athletics and Chill, are the track and field leagues. Are there track and field leagues that exist? And I went over at least, 5 different track and field leagues. There were 2 that were team-based. One might be defunct, and I said, hey, look, I might have to invest in that one and try to buy it. And then, obviously, there were 3 of the ones that we're more familiar with, like Diamond League and things like that. So don't forget to check out those. Another thing that's going on here, where is this? I think here it is. I'm going to do one. I was literally going to use delay is not denial for Amusan. And then I saw this on the athletics, on World Athletics website. So I'm doing a video on Toby Amusan and others. And they'll be coming up pretty soon. As far as that, since she's Nigerian, I'm going to release it closer to midnight my time, which is probably near midnight in Jamaica too, and see how those things go. I'm going to experiment with different times and seeing the audience, because they're about 6 hours or so ahead. So we'll see how that goes. Without further ado, how are you guys doing today? How are you all doing today? Are you enjoying yourself? Wait a minute. Is this? Wow, they're showing the wrong picture. Are you guys enjoying yourselves here? And so today's topic is Athletics and Chill, episode 5. Count on 5. Should athletes transcend athletics? Or the alternate title, should track athletes be above the sport? And so what that really means is, should we go above and beyond to try to separate ourselves from track and field, to go beyond that? And I'm going to give you guys different scenarios, because I've seen a lot of people that are angry with somebody like, let's bring her up on the screen, like let's say Shakiri Richardson. And don't forget to check out this one. How fast can she get if properly trained, on that video. But a lot of people would be or would be upset about Shakiri Richardson and say, well, her thing was luck. It doesn't matter if it's luck at this point. That I don't care. I don't care. At this point, it's about capitalizing on it. If she has transcended faster than she normally would just by running fast, good. As far as for her, good for her, right? How does that work with other people? Well, when somebody else can beat her, some of her fans will lump off onto other athletes. That's how a person that transcends the sport will do. For example, Elaine Thompson-Herah, she got the largest followers ever in the history of her. It's over 50% of her followers came after she won Tokyo, and then after she beat Shakiri Richardson, right? So she got 250 plus thousand followers, and I showed that on a previous video. I don't have to show it here, but I showed you all the statistics that happened. It came after the Tokyo Olympics, and then after she beat Shakiri Richardson. It was a large jump after Tokyo, and then another, I think, 100,000 or so that bled off from there. So when you have an athlete, for example, if somebody was able to beat Usain Bolt, not just beat him barely, but then beat him handedly, And then he was talking a lot of mess and everything beforehand. You know that athlete, they would get runoff from that. And like I said, it doesn't really matter how this happened. It's just that it did happen. Cam, he said, or she said, greetings, Head and Shoulders ATR. Greetings to you too. Shout out to you. So here are some athletes that have transcended the sport, at least from my perspective. You guys can let me know if there are others. Here we go. Carl Lewis is one. And then I'm going to add this up into should they overall transcend the sport. Now, Carl Lewis is somewhat controversial for a lot of different reasons. But one of the things is that he's controversial because a lot of people did not like him with him like trash talking and being confident about himself. They called him arrogant. They said he got a big ego and everything. And it's like, you win as much as Carl Lewis did. In my opinion, you got the right to do that. Even if I'm one of his competitors, I'm going to be trash talking during that era. But at the same time, I'm going to have nothing but respect, even if I did or didn't like him. He's transcended track and field to the point that you see him on, what is that, the plant-based milks. You see him in other nations all over. You saw him posted up, but he was able to capture some of it. Now, he was transcending track and field to a smaller extent, and so he didn't get the what's called escape velocity. Escape velocity is that you might be known for track and field. You might be known for one thing. For example, Joe Rogan. He was known as a UFC commentator. That was one of the biggest things that he was known for. And he does his podcast and everything. But guess what? He transcended something like that. Something that I would hope to do. I will hope to eventually transcend what I'm doing as well as far as on this YouTube channel. That, okay, I can bring in people from the outside in, not just get people that are already interested in track. I want to be able to get people that are not currently interested in track and field to do that. If you guys get what I'm saying. Here's another controversial figure that, and this is why I'm going to say, should they transcend track and field? Y'all might not like this one, but here it is. We got Marion Jones. Now, there's a lot of people that know Marion Jones. Now, this is what she tried to do after. Remember, she tried to go to WNBA or do women's basketball after all of that bust and everything that happened, right? So that she's been a controversial, why is this not popping up? She's been a controversial figure that I started to question. I'm like, is she more known than Michael Johnson? Is she more known than Carl Lewis? And that's hard to quantify, in my opinion. I would say that she's more known for the negative things, but by and large still, she transcended. These are just athletes that transcend. And I didn't realize, did y'all know that Marion Jones is only 44 years old? That means she could have been competing even in Rio because she would have been 39. That's crazy. Mind blown. She would have been competing in Rio if she's that good, right? If she was that good, by the time she slows down, she might have still been able to make the Olympic team at the very least, even in the United States. In Rio, that is crazy. That is a lot of wasted talent that she did, and she did it, and she brought it upon herself. That ain't nobody to blame but herself. But she's somebody that transcended it in a negative way, right? So we got Carl Lewis, we got Marion Jones, we got Shakiri Richardson in some ways, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, wait a minute, she transcends track and field? Yeah, it was by accident, right? And I don't care that it's by accident. The fact of the matter is, just like with Marion Jones, her stuff was negative. Shakiri Richardson was based on weed and everything, but that doesn't mean that they still didn't go and transcend it. Here's somebody that transcended track and field in a positive way, and I mean, he reached escape velocity. It's Usain Bolt. This man right here, and here's where I'm going to bring up some data with here, because he's escaped the escape velocity for track and field. Actually, I probably should have waited and given more time. So in the future, when I do these athletics and chill, I'm going to give about 5 minutes of build-up time before I get into it. So let me do a summary for the people that just joined us, because I'm starting to see more people that have joined us now about 10 minutes in. So look, what we're talking about today is that we're talking about Athletics and Chill, episode number 5. And it's should track athletes, track and field athletes, be above the sport. And being above the sport means that you are able to be known. Yes, you're known initially for the sport of track and field, but then there's something or somebody that you can reach and start clawing yourself out. I call it escape velocity. There are some people, an honorable mention here. Carl Lewis. He transcended track and field, at least USA track and field, to a point he thought he was going to be like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is another example. He transcended basketball. He was so famous that his name, his brand will be searched more than the NBA. That's what I mean. Yeah, sure, you might still be known for your main thing, but if you're searched more than that, you're transcending it. Carl Lewis, he transcended the 100 in some ways. He definitely transcended the jumps, right? Because you would be searching him more than you would be searching the event itself. That's what that is. But did he transcend all the way from track and field? No, not completely. He did not reach escape velocity. Marion Jones, for example, she transcended track and field for a negative reason, right? She transcended it for a negative reason. And obviously, she just gets listed among as far as the long list of drug busts that come there. So that's why she did not reach escape velocity. If she can figure out how to market herself now at the age of 44 with her athletic training and everything, she might be able to capitalize even on her infamy to make some money here. Now, she's always going to have that huge thing, especially with the FBI investigation and everything like that. But there you go. And the last person that we got, just to catch everybody up now, you'll see how fast I'm going with this one. We got Shakiri Richardson. Where is she at? Where is Shakiri? Oh, I got to take Bolt off the screen so you can see that one because that's underneath there. But here's Shakiri Richardson, right? She transcends track and field in a way. I don't know if she's reached escape velocity, though, because she hasn't won. But she has partially reached escape velocity when there are sponsors that normally, traditionally would not be sponsoring, like that vape company that normally wouldn't reach out to a track and field athlete has now reached out to her to say, hey, we can give you a sponsorship. Hey, let's do these things. Let's do this commercial here. Let's have you in a music video. That's starting to reach escape velocity in ways earlier on. And she's only 21. And so things can only look up if she starts to win. That's the biggest thing. She has to start winning at something major, or at least get a medal at the very least, right? That's what she has to do, or else she's going to have partial escape velocity, and the only thing she's going to do is kind of meander around there. Now, here's somebody that fully reached escape velocity. Like I said, Usain Bolt. This man has fully reached escape velocity. This is when he did that Mo Farah thing, and then he was doing like a joke on it. But Usain Bolt has done this. And let's bring up something here to talk about exactly what this really means. And remember, to catch you all up here, Joe Rogan, he reached escape velocity when it came to podcasters, when it came to UFC commentators. He commentated on the UFC. And guess what? He now is like, yo, we got a Spotify giving them, what was the deal again? Somebody remind me in the comment section. Was it $1 billion deal or something like that? Or was it like $100 million deal? It was something really large. Now it tells everybody, including people like myself. Because think of a podcaster, somebody that's doing radio. Okay, you're essentially like track and field. It's individualized. It's like tennis, it's individualized. But now that a person like Usain Bolt got this large contract, now Sydney McLaughlin can get one. Now Shakiri Richardson can get a larger one. Now somebody like Elaine Thompson-Herah, which came after the era that now they say, hey, we need a bigger contract. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price came at the same time as he started getting bigger, and it wasn't when he renewed his contract. So therefore, she didn't get the full benefit of here's a larger contract. Allison Felix definitely didn't. But when people came after, it's like, oh, I know my worth now. That's when you start transcending. You got bully power. And that's what Usain Bolt has shown us. So let's show you right here. Should they transcend it? That's the basic question here. I'm going to give you all the evidence here, and then I'm going to ask you guys this later about whether they should transcend it or not, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, you got to know your place. Usain Bolt should not be commenting on Shakiri Richardson, even though he's been asked a direct question, because he is athletics. I'm like, no, he's not athletics. He's transcended beyond athletics, and he doesn't have the influence in athletics that some people think he does, right? Because if he did, it would be certain he would be flexing that power. Trust and believe. Although he is somewhat of a private person himself, he will be flexing the power that he does. He's transcended beyond it, but we need one step more. Somebody that transcends beyond it and can have bully power and flex within athletics too. Because that's what Michael Jordan did. They got the Jordan rules. They changed up things around it. Michael Johnson had rules that were changed around him. So here is the thing. Do you guys see that, or are you seeing a black screen? Oh, it's a black screen. Here it is. Okay, here's Forbes. Now, this is what happens. Now, this is what happens when you transcend your sport in some ways, right? So here are the highest paid athletes that's up here. Now, this says the top 50 sports stars combined to make nearly $2.8 billion in a year of records. Now, I would like to point out here, in this same year, in 2021, which is where this is made for 2021. Now, this has to go off of 2020 numbers, in my opinion. But because it's still, whenever this article is written, it won't have the full year, and then the NBA or whatever, different sports in different time frames. They're just doing their best data. So it's going to be basically 2020, right? So this is what happens when you can transcend your sport in some ways. You start getting bully power. Now, some of them, because the sports are already bigger, they haven't transcended the sport. They're just highly paid. That's a difference. That's a difference, okay? You can be highly paid in your sport, but you don't transcend your sport. If you get what I'm saying. So hopefully some of you guys do. If you don't, then drop it in the comment section below, and then I'll try to go into detail. You got Naomi Osaka right here, right? And she can start having some influence, but she has not transcended her sport. Not at all, right? She has not transcended the sport of tennis. Not at all. But she can be highly paid. That's a direct example right there. Curry, has he transcended the sport of basketball? No, but he does have a large draw for basketball. Jordan has quite literally transcended the sport of basketball. And that's the difference. It's where it gets to legendary status. So here we go. Let's go down this list of people. I would say that LeBron James has transcended basketball, because when you start to see them show up in media and they're like, yeah, we're not showing up in media as an athlete. We're showing up in media like a movie, as in we're going to start trying to act. That's where you get people like Rihanna or something like that. And they say, I want to be in a movie, and I'm not just going to come here to sing. Even though in some of the roles that she did sing. That's transcending what she did, right? So on this list, okay, Usain Bolt isn't on that list for this one, right? And I had to look at multiple resources here. This was in 2016, saying that he makes this much. Then I had to look at another Forbes article. It says his salary in winnings is $1 million, right? So he dropped off the Forbes list in 2019. Now, I don't know the specific reasons. Like, here it is. He dropped off the Forbes list in 2019. He dropped off the top 100 celebrities in 2018. So that's something there. So that's showing that his influence is not as big. You see this? That's what I'm saying. Usain Bolt hasn't been flexing his influence, and if he doesn't capture it in a certain way, his influence will wane as far as where it can do in track and field, what it can do slightly outside of it, right? But that doesn't take away that he's a juggernaut right now, and that his influence has allowed him to get these sponsors. Now, let's see how much he's worth. Net worth, $90 million. Now, his salary. Now, this differs from Forbes. So I think this is including maybe his his partnerships and his sponsors and endorsements of the car companies that he's with. And whereas the Forbes one did not include that. Now, we're going through here, and you guys let me know. This is about the final point that I have here. So, if Puma's paying him I think it's actually 10, but $9 million to $10 million every year, and he's getting endorsement deals with Gatorade, Nissan, Visa. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I thought Visa might have dropped that deal or something like that, unless they picked them back up. And all of these other ones, Virgin Media, Puma, right? If he's able to pull that in about $30 million and he is not even running, he's not running. He doesn't have to appear in a running related thing all the time. Like this one. He doesn't have to appear in a running related ad. That's how you know you're transcending your sport. When you're not any longer doing it, and you can start commanding and saying, hey, I need this type of deal. He's starting companies with that. You guys get with me? So what do you guys think here? Today's Athletics and Chill is going to be a little bit more chill. If you guys want to call in, drop it in the comment section as well, because I'm going to allow the call-ins. Every time we have an Athletics and Chill or any of these live streams, there is always a section for call-in. So I've made my point there. In my opinion, I think it's necessary and needed for athletes to transcend the sport. The reason being is because when they transcend the sport, there's trickle-down effect onto everybody else, and everybody else, beautiful family here, everybody else, and we all make more money, from the commentators to the athletes to the coaches to the trainers potentially. Actually, I think the trainers in the NBA get paid standard wages, so maybe they don't get paid more. But for the most part, most people that are involved with the sport, they get uplifted along with it, right? And so that means when you're looking to send your son, daughter, grandchildren out and say, hey, should they do a sport? They don't have to say, yeah, I'm only going to go to rugby or soccer because it's paid so much. And then I look at this and, yeah, I could be paid some, but if I'm not a good track and field athlete, even in Jamaica, I don't make enough money to do what I need to do. If there are more people that keep transcending in the sport, and there are more people, at least if there's one or two people that transcend it, and then there are people to capitalize on it that may be within the sport, then we start to uplift everybody else. So you guys get what I'm saying here? Or you guys get what I'm saying to that point, to that extent? Because that's exactly what we need. We need something like this. We need new people to come in and they break records, like Naomi Osaka. They have a personality. They are not just there, that's just sitting there and it's like kumbaya, kumbaya, whatever, right? Like they said here, Naomi Osaka is the highest paid female athlete ever, right? Now, you will think that Venus or Serena Williams, being there longer, they would get paid more. No, that's not how things work. There's a negotiation. Now, they might have opened up the door for that, right? They might have opened up the door for since they're the first ones. Like Naomi Osaka, she couldn't come around now being the highest paid female athlete without Venus or Serena Williams, without the females that came before her in the sport, right? So that's the thing that we're talking about here. They can't do that. And that's what we need for track and field. We need people that come and they say, boom, I'm going to light us off like a firecracker. And then people after you that may not have the records that you got, that may not have yet the accolades that you have, right? There are people that will not have the accolades that Usain Bolt has, yet I am almost certain that they're going to be somebody else that gets paid more than Usain Bolt did during his career while he was running. If he's making $33 million a year at the height of his running career while he was still competing, because this was written in 2016, right? If he's able to make $33 million and somebody else comes after him, he's opened the door for that. Now there are athletes that's going to make more than him. They're going to have a $1 million net worth before Usain Bolt did, right? They're going to have it before him. And each one builds off of the last one. That's why we need every once in a while somebody to transcend the sport. Somebody that reaches out to a larger audience. Because guess what? This is another reason. Whether it's good or bad, except for the drug cheat thing. That's never a good look on the sport in general. Because track and field is already littered with something like that. And that obviously that hasn't grown track and field at all. But here we go. Let's say that Daryl, shout out to you. You may as well become a member of the channel, man, or the Patreon. You be contributor to Cash App all the time. I appreciate that all the time as well. But if somebody like a Usain Bolt comes in here, right? Oh, darn it. Once I said that, I lost my thought. Give me just a second. The heck was I making? It was a good point I was making too. Oh, so if Usain Bolt is able to come in here and he's doing it, well, guess what happens? Where are these numbers at? Under Armour, Adidas, Nike revenue. All right, let me show you something here. Here's the largest. This is the largest revenue for Nike history. And y'all be saying all types of negative stuff about Nike. But guess what? They jumped. And I got other stuff. I was going to do this on some other video. But this is the largest thing. Don't look at the numbers. Forget the numbers for a second of the dollars or revenue that they brought in. Just think of it in a different way. This is growth. Nike is concerned with growing. Guess who ain't growing all the time? Where is it at? No. I don't have the chart here. Gosh, dang it. So Under Armour is actually slightly falling behind. If you ain't growing, somebody's eating your food. That's essentially what I wanted to do. Nope, that's the wrong one. I got a whole bunch of charts up here. Here's Puma, slowly but surely growing. Every year they're not growing, right? No, dang it, I don't have that chart up. Okay, guys, we just gonna have to pretend and use our imagination here. So here's the thing. Nike is concerned with growing. And I even got another chart up here that Nike's biggest market jump happened in the United States, Greater China, Africa and Europe, and in Africa, Middle East, and Africa. That's what it was. And Europe, right? Now, they didn't really grow at all in Latin America and I think it's Southeast Asia, right? That was the one where it's about the same. That's an opportunity for somebody. If you're like, yo, we getting beat hand over fist. How can we do something? Oh, this is the area they're weak in. Let's go attack this and try to become the top spot in. So if track and field is not growing, even the NFL, for everything that people keep trash talking on this channel about, hey, only Americans watch it. You know what the NFL is slowly doing in the background? Getting more and more countries to participate in American football. The more that they do that, guess what? The more content that they can sell, just like the NBA. They have expanded into China. That's why LeBron James can be the #2 paid athlete behind Ronaldo, because guess what? Yeah, basketball might be a global sport, but there's a difference between it being a global sport like track and field, and you can monetize on it. It's called growing the NBA in other countries so they can have an NBA team somewhere else. So if you're not growing, you're going to be failing. Under Armour is starting to flop over into Nike eating away at them because they even marketed themselves as a competitor to Nike. Now they've gotten a little bit more quiet because they are losing ground. When you're losing ground like that, you got to rethink. Under Armour is #4, but #4 is tiny, right? Because Nike got most of the market. Then it's Adidas. And then after that, it's Puma and Under Armour. Under Armour on some charts will be other. That's how small they are compared to the big three. So if you're not growing, somebody else is eating your cake and eating your food. And that's what we got to talk about here. Whether athletes should transcend the sport, yes, in most ways except for the drug busting. The Marion Jones route, that ain't going to help us out. That's not going to help track and field be big. Look, this is what I want to see. And this is what I want to put for y'all right now. How would y'all like to see when y'all turn on the TV, you're like, dang, my cousin, because this could be your cousin or this could be your niece or nephew. just depending on, the age group of the people watching these streams, right? Or you, yourself, right? Your family, your mom is watching this. Because we got different age groups, even though most of them might be 45 and older now, right? We still got an actual substantial amount, the other 40% or so, still under that age group. So if you're over there, and given that scenario I just said, how would you like to see on now, turn that on? You say, wow, this last year, my cousin, that's bragging rights in some ways. Even if it don't influence you directly, it might. Because if your cousin's doing well, they might, hey, you got a good relationship with them, and you're not just like, hey, you doing really well right now, pass me some dollars. Look, if they're doing really well, usually, this is not everybody, but usually, especially if you got a strong, close-knit family, hey, they might cut you off of some of that $76 million, right? Or it might just help out the neighborhood in general. You might not be related to any of them, but they wanted to take care of you and the neighborhood. They donated something to the university that you might be going to. They did something like Usain Bolt. He went back to his school in there. This is something I want to see for track and field athletes. I've been wanting to see this for a long time. Yeah, it might not directly influence me. And now that I'm on YouTube, it would actually. But before, I didn't have a direct influence for me. It was more for, I was frustrated back in 2010 all the way to 2014, racking my brain over, yo, why are these track and field athletes? Why is Nike and these other shoe companies, but for USATF, Nike got that exclusive deal for what, 20 years he signed at that point or something? It was some long deal, or was it 10? Regardless of that, why is Nike and these other shoe companies, Reebok or whatever, saying these non-disclosure agreement, we can't know what an athlete is making? That means the only person you got to rely on is the agent. It gives the agent more power, because if it's a new agent, the new agent won't even know how to negotiate, number one. So that means it's a monopoly of the agents. Remember, the agents all came together and they said, we were making 10% off of the cut of this money. Now we want to come together and band together. We're making 15%. How come the athletes can't band together and say, well, we ain't going to go to these meets. We're not going to do any of this stuff. We're not going to do any of these things until we make more. Now, if they make more, the agents make more. But that's just the first step. First is doing that. Then the next step is cutting the agent out. I know that's going to dislike some of the agents that's on my channel. And some of the people want me to become an agent. But look, follow through with me for a second. If you make track and field a team sport, you don't need the agents like that as much anymore, right? But if it's individual like tennis, there's still a way to capitalize on it that helps out everybody. Lisa Blackman said I would. Yeah, exactly. I love to turn on the TV, see a family member or somebody doing well in a sport that I already enjoy. I enjoy soccer, ice hockey, track and field in general. Those are the three sports that I enjoy the most. Other ones it's either here or there. In sports in general, I'm just like, I'm kind of neutral on it. I just don't care for it either way or this one. But if I'm gonna go out of my way to watch some stuff, it's gonna be track and field athletics, particularly the pole vault and the marathon and the 4x1. Those are my favorite events. So when it comes down to it, like, here we go. That's why I made that video too. I was really disappointed they didn't get that world record. That's partially personal. All right, just being honest a little bit personal. But yeah, I would love to see. Here's a track and field athlete. Yeah, when Usain Bolt was up on here, he would have been somewhere in this list. He was number 10 in 2018 because he was at 30 million. Now it's Kevin Durant. Now I don't think that they count him on this list because he's not actively an athlete. But when you count everybody and how much money they make every year, and I lost that page. I was trying to look for it, but I lost it for whatever reason. It's gone. He still would be in the top 10 earners if that $30 million plus is real and that's true of what he makes every year. He would still be somewhere roughly around the top 10 or top 20 at the very least. Right? Because it's not that many athletes, when you think about it, making 30 million or more. You even see one of them right here, Naomi Osaka. She's made 5 million on the field, off the field, 55 million. So, yeah. So that's what I would like to see. So if we want to see them transcend track and field, this is what has to happen. Here's the next step in this conversation here. So I think we can all agree that we would say, yes, they should transcend. I guess my mouse is glitching up. That they should transcend and that we should see a poster. Matter of fact, I might copy this and do it with track and field athletes. Okay, my mouse is glitching up. I might have to turn this thing off and on. Maybe my battery's going out. All right, let's try this again. Nope, it's glitching up. I'm gonna have to use my keypad. So yeah, so I would like to see something like this, but be done for track and field. That's what I want to see. So here's the next step of the conversation. How do you reach what I call escape velocity? How do you get outside of the track and field circles and become a home name like Usain Bolt did? And maybe to much of the chagrin of a lot of the audience here, Shakiri Richardson, right? Hers was by accident. So here's the two examination. If we look at Usain Bolt, and let's take this off of the screen for just a second, or actually go over to his page. If we look at Usain Bolt and what he did, he broke a world record. Now, a lot of people say Jamaicans have to break a record in order to get attention. No, actually, no. Here's a bias that a lot of the audience members are seeing here. They keep coming from the aspect of Jamaica doesn't get attention, we don't get our shine and everything. Actually, from what I've seen, Jamaica gets more attention than Americans do a lot of times. The thing is, if you watch American media and you see, because you're very close to the USA, and the USA is a bigger country, which has a bigger media market, and then there are more meets that are in the USA versus in Jamaica, of course, you're going to then say, oh, USA athletes get shine all the time. How many Jamaican athletes are in the USA competing at some of these bigger meets? There are some here and there, but what are the top name? Not that many. Like Johan Blake didn't even come to the USA for many years. Not until he was trying to recover from his injury and everything like that. Usain Bolt stepped to the USA, I think, a total of 4 times, right? So when you say, oh, Jamaicans don't get covered, it's because they don't come to the USA. That's what happens. But when Shelly Ann Fraser-Price comes to the USA, oh, yes, she gets covered. She gets highlighted, right? And so that's the difference of where we're seeing it. You have to break a world record in the USA too, except for the aspect of Richardson being an exception. You essentially have to break some kind of record to get any type of escape velocity. Allison Felix did not reach escape velocity. A lot of you are thinking Allison Felix has more influence and brand than she does. No, you're thinking from the track and field perspective. Just because somebody talks about Felix, here's the example. Just because somebody talks about Felix in their home, here and there, they're like, oh yeah, there's that track and field athlete, right? Bolt was used in rap songs. You didn't hear Allison Felix used in other types of media like that, right? That's the difference between both of them. One reached escape velocity to the point where they influenced some of the popular media. They became a term, right? And it helped that his name was Bolt. But another athlete that was not him did not reach that. Yes, she did some things. She's within the track and field circles. She's big. Get out of the track and field circles, and she's not. Usain Bolt, huge in the track and field circles. He might not be as big outside of it, but best believe he got some bully power where he will show up somewhere and these rich people are going to be meeting up with him. That's the difference. That's the difference. So that's what I want to say with here. But how do we become? Circling back to that for a second. How do you become an escape velocity person? One of the things is you may have to break a record. That's one. But let's say you don't break a record, because at some point, records aren't going to be broken. You can break a meet record and everything, but you can't break the world record. Okay, cool. Number 2, you got to be a winner on a regular basis. This is the regular route. Okay, Richardson did it in a black swan thing. You can't predict that, right? You cannot predict those things. She was getting attention because she was running fast, but she didn't get to millions and millions of, she didn't even get to, I think she was like 200,000 followers on her Instagram until that whole debacle that happened. And because she won in the way she won, and then it became a campaign, an agenda thing, that's when she got 2 million plus people. But otherwise, she was following the same route that other people were following. Okay, so don't let anything confuse you. Don't let after the fact, looking back at those videos, confuse you. She was under the normal route of track and field athletes. She just happened to be somebody that might have gotten a slightly more attention because she was fast in the United States. And of course, this is U.S. market. It's like somebody being fast in Jamaica. Yes, you're going to have some attention down there. I mean, I don't see what the problem is, right? A lot of people have a problem with that. She's in the USA. She's a fast person. It's like Dina Asher-Smith being fast in the UK and in Europe. If you get a European athlete that fast, they're going to highlight that person. So that only makes sense in your own home market. It's not like she was in Jamaica, and the Jamaican commentators, now y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I never heard them say that. Like, oh yeah, she could beat the Jamaicans. Nah, that wasn't what was being said, right? But I don't see any problem with the USA, her running in the USA, and then some people thinking that she might have a chance to medal. I thought she had a chance to medal. I didn't think she could win, but I thought, well, there was a small chance she could, but I didn't think she would get blown out until later in the season. I started seeing Shelly Ann ran that 10.63. Then I was like, okay, I got to change that back up. Okay, they said, Ayana Brown said, that is true. Bolt was known outside of track and field. Yeah, exactly. So what you got to do, I went through, you got to probably set records. You got to win consistently. Here's the other thing. You got to be freaking entertaining. You cannot escape the sport by being the most polite woman in the room. You can't, or being the most dainty woman in the room. That's not good. Track and field doesn't have that attention here. Okay, let's go back over here to Naomi Osaka. Okay, is Naomi Osaka the most polite person you've ever met in your life? For the people that are familiar with Naomi Osaka, do you think she's polite? Do you think Venus or Serena Williams are polite? Do you think either one of them are the most polite people? Matter of fact, I forgot which one, but I think Serena Williams was the one that said she could beat a man at some point back in the 90s. And then the guy that was ranked like number 50 or 100 or something, 150 or something, played her. And he was like, yeah, I played so bad. It was like I was a 500 player, and he beat her. And then she went in interviews in the future and said, I'm glad that the sports are. She even said this a couple years ago. Somebody said, oh, what about having men and women together? She said, no, I'm glad that we're separated. They have faster reaction time. They can hit faster, so on and so forth. She became freaking evangelized in that. But before, her ego got so big in her thing, rightly so, she's winning. Her and her sister are winning. And so they were like, yeah, we can beat the men. She said somebody that's not in the top 100. And so somebody said, all right, and I could bring this up on the screen for you guys if y'all don't believe what I'm saying, for the people not familiar with it. Her ego got so big because she got a personality. That's the thing. She's got a personality. She's not just there being quiet or whatever. When she's out there on the court, she's just like, yo, what the heck are you doing? She might even flip out and curse on them. They have an argument. Y'all know some of the controversy that happened with her. That's how you transcend the sport. You can't just be the most dainty woman that's there. You have to have something. Nobody's telling you to act like Richardson, but you gotta have some kind. How do I know you? You could be a stock factory issue Barbie doll. There we go. There you go. There's a lot of women that are doing the Kim Kardashian look. I'm looking at it. I'm like, you put the filter on, you put the long eyelashes, and you put the makeup. I can't tell the difference between you and anybody else. How do I tell if you are from this country or that country? Because now you got the filter. It makes you look exactly the same as somebody else. It lightens your skin color. It gives you this little pointy little eye, and then it does the like contacts thing to your eyes. You all look the same, essentially, is what's happening to a lot of people. So when somebody looks then natural, that person stands out. You get what I'm saying? The same thing's happening in track and field. There is no difference. The interviewers went up to Shelly Ann Fraser-Price afterward, and this was the best thing this is the second best thing I've ever seen her do. The other thing was earlier this year when she was like, oh, I got to finish now too. And she did that thing, right? That was a little bit snappy. I like that one. I was like, okay, cool. Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce letting some of it fly here, but that's some of her letting her personality out. But this is what she did. Remember this?
Jamaica 1, 2, 3. Should we have expected anything differently?
No, you shouldn't have.
All right. Okay. When they were like, hey, should anybody have expected the top 3 or something? She let some of that. What happened over the years before? There was nobody else that wanted to trash talk. So there would be no way for her, because if she's not the person to do it, she has to respond to somebody else. If there's nobody else doing it to you, there's no lobby. It's like in a tennis match. Nobody hits the ball to you, there's no way for you to hit it back. This is the perfect to have the tennis players on the screen here. If they're going against each other, if nobody lobbies the ball towards you or hits the ball, how you going to hit it back? So without Richardson there would be no controversy that's there. There would be less people viewing this because the only thing that would be there is Elaine Thompson Hero doing her celebration thing, and then it's there. Nothing. You know why they picked on Justin Gatlin toward London? Because of London are the Puritan people. I do not like Great Britain's version of marketing. I will just say that. It's on the record now. It's recorded, whatever. I don't like their version of marketing where everybody got to be kumbaya. We got to hear you get banned for life because you freaking did a drug cheat thing. Man, get out of here with that. I'm glad they forced you all to not ban somebody for life because y'all were just so extreme with that. Okay, cool. Depending on what it is, yes, you get banned for life. You lie into a government investigation like Marion Jones, you get banned for life. Like those baseball players, some of them got banned for life because of the stuff that they did. Sure, there are certain things. But for the most part, they say you use one freaking thing, you banned for life no matter what you did. And they had to change it. Because it's like you losing all of your athletes. Now you look real stupid because now you lost those. Let me see. The Francois said, was Marion Jones a breakout star? If so, what did she have that the current group don't? Asking because she was before my time. Okay, so yeah, let's go back up here. Let's put this background image here and bring up Marion Jones. So Marion Jones, you saw, okay, now people that were, because she was slightly before me too. Like I said, I ain't that old. So y'all gonna have to get this one here before me. But from what I saw from Marion Jones, and plenty of this was looking back, she had not only ran fast, she had like that approachability with her, while at the same time as being no nonsense. If you get what I'm saying. Now, I think she had to, and then her being huge. Part of it was her body. Some of the things that are built in is how a person looks. That's going to be a breakout thing too. Because, I mean, standing next to everybody else, think of it like this. Where is she at? Imagine Blessing Okabare just start blazing past everybody else. You know how much taller she is than everybody else? That's going to stand out in itself. Usain Bolt being that much taller than everybody else stands out. Part of it is going to be something you can't control. Like genetically, your height is going to be your height. Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce can stand out because she's so short. But in some ways, Marion Jones was just, not only was she tall, she was huge. She over there looking, in my opinion, she was looking like a linebacker compared to some of the other athletes about how her size was. Even though, really, when you think about it, you're getting up close to her, she's not really that big. But compared to some of the athletes she stood next to, that's what she would look like. She's looking like this really huge person. But you stand her next to a regular, average, everyday person, she might not look that big. You get what I'm saying? But part of it was she had an aggression to her, but it was a closeted aggression, and it kind of helped because she was a bigger athlete. She was taller and meatier. So that's what helped her with that. And then the drug bust thing is the biggest thing, because she was making a name for herself slightly outside of track and field. It was slowly starting to happen, and it got all crushed. She got all crushed. Daryl Richardson said she was the starting point guard on UNC's national championship team in 1994. And then Lisa Blackman said Marion Jones was a beast in high school in Thousand Oaks. She was wiping out everyone then, so I wasn't surprised at all. Yeah. Oh yeah, and because she tried and she was doing basketball and everything as well. That's why I got the picture, both of these pictures here of her trying to try the WNBA after everything, and it just didn't pan out as much because that was also a draw too. She was able to do two different sports. It won't necessarily stand out as much today. Like, I think it was more of a novelty at the time to be a female basketball player then. Now the WNBA has gotten on so many people's nerves. If you're a WNBA player and going to track and field, you're not really about to stand out. It's going to be like, you're going to stand out more being a track and field athlete than WNBA. And the reason being is because they're trying to stuff and force the WNBA down people's throats in the games when the athletes, they don't really know them. They know more. This is crazy. They know more. Well, it's not crazy. You would think it's the other way around. People know more track and field athletes, female track and field athletes, than they do of the WNBA. You cannot say that the other way around for the NBA. That's how much better the female track and field athletes already are as far as their marketing. For as much as track and field in the United States and in other countries may not be the top sport, especially in the U.S. with so many other sports, WNBA players and how annoying people feel that is, and I'm going to say feel, well, they will know more. I've actually asked people, and I did Facebook statuses. I did this. I was like, wait a minute, let me see something real quick, because I couldn't name that many WNBA players. I can know some, because some of them were athletic directors in Chicago. Now I might reveal who the heck that was, but she played for the LA Sparks, and she was a former track and field athlete, and she hired me to do a couple of things for the city of Chicago for announcing. So I would know a few of them just because of the circles that they went into, right? But aside from that, if I didn't, and I think I recognized her actually and asked her, but aside from that, I wouldn't know that many people from WNBA. But Marion Jones, she stuck out because of those reasons that they just said. She was in a basketball player, and she did that. But here's another thing that you can stand out. The biggest thing has got to be your personality. The biggest thing has to be your personality. Everybody on this list right here got a personality. Although Naomi Osaka has yet to, she has some kind of breakout success, she's yet to completely divorce herself. Serena, Venus, they don't need that anymore. They don't need tennis anymore, technically. They can still do what they're doing. That's why they both don't do tennis anymore. Well, only one. I think Serena. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it Serena Williams? I'm going to be real embarrassed right here if I got the wrong one, because Serena is the one that comes out and be dominated. So, the Francois said, so Marion is mainly known from Balco. I thought she was almost on Bolt level. Balco was actually how I knew her. Yeah, so right now she's mainly known for it, but within track and field, she was starting to reach escape velocity because she blazed people. Before Balco, she was blazing people to such an extent. I wish I could bring this up without getting a copyright strike, but go back to, was it Sydney? She was the only person in the field to break 11 seconds. She ran 10.75 on their head. She was the only person in the field to break 11 seconds. Imagine what a 10.75 looks like next to the next closest person is 11.03, 11.05. Just imagine that for a second. The gap that she put on them. And that was in the finals. Or was that? Yeah, I think that was Sydney. Then imagine what she's doing race after race after race. Very similar. If that was the Olympic final, imagine a regular race. Imagine a Golden League meet, because that was before the Diamond League. Imagine all of that, and she's race after race after race after race, just over there dominating. That's what made her almost on Bolt status, because she did it, and then her size and her personality. Those things got there. You actually could see Marion Jones' personality a bit. That's the thing. She wasn't hiding it. Back in the 90s and 80s for track and field, the track and field athletes showed their personality a little bit more. I'm like, I can see who Carl Lewis is. I can see who Michael Johnson is. I can see who FloJo is. The thing is, and the thing is that somewhere along the lines, I think after Balco or something like that, the track and field athletes said, all right, I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to show my personality. All of them just started doing, and then they do the rock back and forth thing, the track thing. I was like, I've never done it in my life. Most of the athletes I've ever encountered, as far as personally coached or seen, they don't do that rock back and forth thing. And I noticed even on the track, you don't see that everybody does it. It's a lot of track and field athletes that do it. Y'all know what I'm talking about when they stand there and then they rocking back and forth and they say it's a track thing. I'm like, that's crazy how that spread out. But somewhere after the 90s, late 90s or something, maybe it was after Michael Johnson or something, and just before the Balco thing, but they just stopped being personalities. Maurice Green, he brought in the freaking fire extinguisher on the track. Now, he was starting to get some velocity, but it's still not to the same extent. Everybody's not going to do it, but you still got to have gimmicks. You still got to make a name for yourself, even within the sport, right? Lisa Blackman said, Balco ruined Marion's reputation and career and didn't even have a dirty test. Exactly. This is why I keep telling people, most of the people that get caught, I'm going to still go by most, because from the data I've looked at, I could be wrong on this. I will admit this one. This is my opinion here. Based on the data that I have seen, most of the athletes that have been caught have been based on somebody whistleblowing or a complete accident. Balco was an accident, right? Balco was a complete accident with a briefcase thing and everything like that. And other stuff that went around with it, because I know technicalities and whatnot. The Lance Armstrong, with all of those hundreds of other people with him, with the Russian thing, with the Eastern Europeans, with some of the United States athletes and some Jamaicans, with some of just athletes all over in different sports. Most of the people that be getting caught, at least the biggest names, I'm not going to say the small names. That's why I say I could be wrong, because they catch so many people with these drug busts that before they make a big name, they're already out. Just like when I did that DSD research, when I found out, we only know of the biggest of the big names for the DSD stuff. That's why I say I got a bombshell here. The DSD athletes are on the podium way more than we would have realized before. And they've been knowing about this stuff for a while. That's why I said if I was to do a part 2, that's going to come out. The bombshell, that's part of the bombshell right there. Like, but because of medical Privacy Act and stuff, you can't actually know who. And so that makes me wonder. I was like, how come we know about these athletes but not about the others? And then that's a whole different topic there. But I didn't want to make that about the athletics and chill, because I'm like, these are more chill subjects. So Lisa Blackman, oh yeah, I read that. And then Stewie 1156 said WNBA is whack. They need to lower the rims. Part of the reason WNBA isn't good is because they got the camera zoomed out at the exact same amount for the WNBA, right? You got the camera zoomed out for players that are much bigger than you by what, 6 inches or so, and then taller, and they're wider, but the camera zoomed out. So now you just look like, if the camera work is exactly the same. For example, I'm not going to, this is basic common sense to me. If I'm filming a movie, and this comes from my best friend that does movies and whatnot, you don't, with a person that's smaller and more dainty, you don't zoom in the exact same amount. Because if you want to make them look small, you leave it the exact same zoom as somebody that's bigger. But if you want them to make them look bigger, you have to zoom in on them more. The WNBA players are already smaller and shorter, so that's not as entertaining. The same thing, it's a similar problem with soccer, female soccer, but they can still capitalize on it a little bit better. So that's part of the reason. And then, yeah, I think they should lower the rims too, so that it can be more entertaining. But I don't care about basketball as much anymore, so I guess I could care less. Hey, look, the more they do worse, the better it is for track and field. That's the way I look at it. So from a personal bias perspective, hey, you know what? Let them keep doing what they doing, so we can start carving into that audience, so we can start getting our athletes paid. Forget them. Forget the WNBA. And then the Francois said, thanks for answering. I guess people don't want to show their personality for fear of being canceled. Yeah, that's part of, no. I can't say that because the cancel culture is recent. This stuff has been happening, like I said, right after the 90s. I don't know what happened to these people. It's like they got infected with something. Let me put this on the screen so I can pull something up here in the background. It's like after, I don't know what to explain about it, but I would say that Maurice Green might be the last major person that I saw do something big. Otto Bolton didn't do anything spectacular. He had a chance to win. He didn't actually get a chance to win anything major. He kind of flubbed up. I don't know if he was injured that year, but he would put on sunglasses. I mean, that doesn't stand out. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, DeGrasse put on sunglasses. What are they doing? And then you could also argue, what else can be done? To be fair, what else can be done with a track and field athlete? They do a victory celebration, which got started by Akiboa when he won the 400 hurdles in the world record. First man under 48 seconds, right? He's the one that started the victory lap thing. Before, it's just like people go and then you get off the track and then there you go. But then he just kept going and going and going. He didn't listen to him. He did a victory lap essentially with all the hurdles there. He was the first person to do the victory lap. And so there is started something like that. That from a marketing perspective helps the track and field athletes because now they get more attention afterward. Plenty of minutes more, maybe an extra 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how they do it, that they wouldn't have gotten before. So there it is. Lisa Blackman said, my problem with track and field is that they pick and choose whose health that they want to protect using HIPAA because they dogged Justin Gatlin and Christy Gaines and just outed them. You see, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem without a league because you don't have anybody that's getting your back. Now, the administrators directly can't do it, so they have to go indirectly. Whoever did it, I think I got a spam bot in one of my Telegram groups. Whoever did it would have had to be somebody that had an agenda against them personally within the organization or some media outlet and say, oh, this is juicy. Yeah, this is juicy. Because guess what? With Justin Gatlin, where's my picture of Justin Gatlin? With Justin Gatlin, I got to say, he's got to be, from what I have seen of him, he's got to be an athlete that I actually have enjoyed watching. I'm going to put him here behind Christian Coleman because I can't find the other one for lack of time here. With Justin Gatlin, this man was, remember the USA trials or whatever, he looked over to his left. Who was the athlete that he looked over to, or his right? And then he was like, come on. He would start waving him. He's like, come on, hurry up. Like, that's some boisterous stuff. And I know a lot of people don't like seeing that. But he was that much faster. He could look to his right and his left. And he was basically doing kind of like what Usain Bolt was doing, celebrating early. This is what Justin Gatlin was doing. You saw his personality on the track. He was braggadocious. If he didn't get forced to be humbled, actually, Gatlin probably would have attracted a lot of people to track and field. And if you think about it in the USA, that would have been needed. That's literally what would have been needed. Right? Usain Bolt was a different type of thing. He did not really brag. Usain Bolt didn't brag. He responded to people. Justin Gatlin was the type to brag. If he never got the drug thing that happened to him, right? And that was really just his fault with one of them. The other one with the ADHD stuff, and they just really did him dirty. The other one, I don't know. Just like Ferdinand, he said he's not going to trust anybody else anymore. I don't trust nobody in track. Because of this, I will only eat my own foods. I don't eat no fast food. This is what I wanted to ask you guys on a separate one. I will put this on a separate one. But if they put so many injections in the foods, like I'm only eating organic. Especially if I'm a big name athlete, I'm eating organic. I'm not eating out. I'm doing so many restrictions. I don't trust the food in the United States. I don't trust the food in too many different countries. I'm going to eat as much as I can to stay away from chemically laced things. You know how many injections they put in the cows, in some of the plants and stuff? How do you know some of that won't be trace chemicals, and then you say, oh, you're a drug cheat now? This is what I've been thinking for a while. I've been thinking this for years, almost a decade now. I'm like, I would not eat any of this food, because we seeing people get bigger and bigger easier because they're injecting growth hormones into these animals so that they could grow faster, and in the plants. So that would get to us too. How do we know that that won't trigger something? Just like sesame seeds could trigger something, apparently. And I'm like, okay, all of these different things could do that. I would be very meticulous. I would not eat out, especially in season. Out of season, yeah. I would not eat out. I would not take any painkillers. I wouldn't do anything. I would not do it. I would just have to be without. Unless I had needed something, and I don't take pills anyway, unless I gotta. And it's like I go to the doctor and they say, hey, you gotta take this one or else that. And I'm gonna still be like, yeah, no. I'm still not. I'm against that as much as possible unless necessary. Because what I found is that a lot of them aren't necessary. They're just selling you so they can make money. So that's the thing. The Frank Wise said track needs the WWE MMA routes with the gimmicks, etc. It's a short-term fix, but long-term, there are huge structural issues. Yeah. So that. Back to Gatlin real quick, and then I'll read Lisa Blackman. The thing is here with Gatlin, he would have been the brag guy that Usain Bolt answered. Justin Gatlin is the bragger. Shakiri Richardson is the bragger. She's perfect. Y'all, some of y'all may not understand this. Shakiri Richardson is perfect for track and field right now. You know why? Because she's the one with the hot mouth. She's going to come in and she's going to be saying all types of dumb stuff, right? She's going to be saying all types of dumb stuff that whether she needs to back it up at least a couple of times. But it doesn't matter to me. She's going to come in here and she's going to say all types of stuff. And then we're going to get somebody like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, because she got a personality that she at least lets show. Elaine Thompson, she don't let her personality show at all. It's just, man, I'm scratching my head. She's like a cardboard box. No offense to Elaine Thompson Hero. As far as personality-wise, she's just there. She celebrates. But when they ask her questions, she's like, nope, next one. She just wants to avoid all controversy. I'm like, look, I'm going to need you to start roughhousing. And maybe there's some things behind the scenes of why she doesn't do it, right? Maybe there's some behind the scenes. If she start roughhousing, people start dropping information on her. So I don't know. But as far as I can tell, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price about to retire. We need somebody else that's going to come in and that's going to be like, hey, I'm going to put you in your place. Because Javion Oliver is a teammate. And even if she does beat her, she's just going to hug her. She's not going to do anything. She's not going to do anything. Tiana Daniels, she's not a bragger. She's just like, I'm grateful to be here. Right? Most of the athletes, I'm grateful to be here. Yes, thank you. I'm so blessed to be here. Man, get out of here. This is entertainment. I understand you blessed to be here. That's what they say even in football, NFL. They still say the same things. And yet, they be out there on the field, yet they still be, oh, wait a minute. This person said that. Man, get out of here with that. They even go off on a reporter sometimes. We don't even get the track and field athletes except for Justin Gatlin. He will go off every once in a while. That's why I say his personality still showed. Even these athletes don't even be going off on the reporters. Like, man, let them write the controversial stuff on you so then you can get mad back at them so that you can do that stuff. Man, I would love, and I got a marketable name. My first and last name, my name is marketable. I've been told that plenty of times. I already know. If I was an athlete, man, I would use the message. I will milk it. I will milk that. Man, I would love that. And then Lisa Blackman said, I'm with you on that. And that is why I eat organic. I'm almost vegan. I plan to live a long time. That's good. That's good. I'm vegan myself. And I did that based on science. And same thing, Carl Lewis. He started to see his time slow down. He went to Dr. McDougall and he worked with him. And that allowed him to slow down less quickly. And it allowed him to still compete in long jump. Anna Brown said she is perfect and needed personality in track and field. See, that's the thing. The Frank Wise said, I'm grateful to be here. He's laughing. He said, if I had a penny for every time I heard that, I know, right? I'm so blessed to be here. If God wasn't here, I wouldn't. I'm like, all right. Can I get especially American athletes? They do that real good. I'm like, okay, cool. Now what? Now what? Okay, can I get something? And I'm like, oh my goodness, can we get some personality? Even with people that look like they would. Like, I would look at Michelle Lee IE, and I would think she out here, she means some business. And you get a mic in front of her, and she's just like, I guess because she ain't the #1 athlete. But they put a mic in front of her one time, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. All right, cool, Michelle. All right, IE, come on now. Where you at? Where you at? Look, come on, get the thing here. And then, look, Richardson over here like, I ain't done. I hate y'all haters. Y'all haters always hating on me. And then people come here. Look, we got somebody at this hotel, man. I said I call her Forrest Gump. You know how emotional, and she's Jamaican. She's a Jamaican former track and field athlete herself, right? The person at this hotel. And she got so mad at me. She got so mad at me. And she tried to shame me, #1. And then #2, she was just like, oh, I don't care. Clearly, her nose is flared and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, why you care? She's been trash talking other people. Of course, we go trash talk her a little bit. I'm calling her Forrest Gump because she's running slow. But that's that's the emotion that you need. I don't care if the people hate her or love her or something. That's the whole point. You got to be in sports. In sports, you need somebody like that. If you don't have a figure like that, here's Michael Johnson, right? You know what have made him stand out more? If he had somebody else, and he did. He had what? Maurice Green, Bailey that he raced against. And they kept dodging each other though. And I think partially it was because of the sponsors and partially because of them. But he stood out a little bit more because he had people that wanted to say, yo, I'm better than you, or I'm the world's fastest man. Oh, you just the fastest over the 200, but you can't beat me in the 100. Cool, let's do a 150. What happened to Michael Johnson? He took them L's. But guess what? That made it more exciting and more popular. We got some people trash talking here, and then it's gonna be somebody here. You know what to make it more trash talk, more better, is if you had people from more than one nation do it. You know what the headline should have been here? This is the headline they missed. Because this is why I want to have a production company. Like legit production company. Where is that? Here's Sharika Jackson. Here we go. Here's the thing right here. Okay, they should have had world's. Where is actually no. Where's a lane? Ah, shoot, I don't got a lane up here. Oh, here it is. I don't know which one this is though. So here's a lane right here. Let's bring her to the side. Where's my Shakiri Richardson one? Okay. We get a lane versus oh my goodness. Come on now. Which one is this one? Nah, I think this one is better. So we get a lane versus Shakiri Richardson. It should have been world's fastest woman versus, oh dang. There's a couple of them. You could say world's fastest woman versus fastest American. Or something like that. American champion. That could have just been a headline. Or world's fastest woman versus. They could have, if somebody that wasn't Prefontaine, now they couldn't have done this. Now another smaller website could have said world's fastest woman versus fastest loser or smoked out loser or something like that. You know how many people would have got angry because of that headline? Yet the headline would have been blasting all over the place. How much trash talk would have been back and forth. All of the stuff between the Jamaicans and Americans, or the Shakiri Richardson fans within the U.S. and other countries versus not the fans that are there, right? If you're getting all of them that are out now, just imagine what's going to happen with a headline like that. But at the very least, it should have been world's fastest woman. Forget Olympic champion. Forget Olympic champion for a second. I need world's fastest woman to be versus somebody else. Or world's fastest woman versus, now where is this? I lost where I got these images at. Here it is. I got so many layers and things here. Oh, dang it. Where is it at? Okay. Now, I got so many layers. Excuse me for a second as I pull something else. Oh yeah, world's fastest woman versus best trash talker. Or it's world's fastest woman versus world's fastest mouth. There we go. That's something like that, right? World's fastest woman versus world's fastest mouth. That could have been the headline, and that would have got people ticked off. Man, I think I'm gonna just have to start a track and field website, right? And just start putting out these things, because I can start promoting this thing. The problem is that FlowTrack is in the way. That's one thing I will say. FlowTrack is in the way of doing some of that. But I mean, they're a business, because I would love to do a promotion company. Now, I got money tied up until next April and next March. Right when that time comes up, y'all about to see a lot of stuff happen. I ain't even gonna tell y'all, but y'all gonna see a lot of stuff happening after next April or next March, probably between there and the summer. There's a lot of things that are gonna happen that I'm gonna do. I know other people, they got their things. If they want to start a track and field league, cool on them. I don't even need to have a track and field league at this point. I've realized that. All you got to do, just like with boxing, you get a promotion, because this is individual. This is individual. All you got to do is pump up the individuals, and then other people are there. Do you know what happens in boxing? They got the production companies. Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. All he had to do is, you got Floyd Mayweather with his production company, or Pacquiao. They promoting themselves. These are hundreds of millions and billions of dollars going back and forth between these all of the parties involved, and they get a portion of it, right? And you get it on pay-per-view. You could do the same thing with track and field. You know what? Because these boxing matches don't last but what? Sometimes 11 seconds. Sometimes they last, what, 2 minutes or something like that. They don't last that long. You get all of this buildup, all of this freaking buildup. And then you get the other person, the non-main people. And then they come up, and then next thing you know, what's there? Oh, this short boxing match. I remember when somebody said, oh, this is how long it is. That's all? I was like, yeah, what did you expect? I was like, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching those things. I don't have an interest in it, but I'm not watching it. But that's how short they are. And yet they get so many people to watch. Not only that, forget the amount of people that watch. They get so much sponsorship money, because they're able to hype it up. They're able to hype these things up, pull their connections and strings. And that's what we really need. If we keep track and field individual, I know exactly how I would market this. And I'm giving away free game to some of y'all that may start something like this. So if you would, don't forget to contribute to that Cash App or PayPal, okay? Or Super Chat. I'd appreciate it. If we get 5 people with that, I appreciate it, because it's free game right here. But look, that's what we need. You know what this is? This ranking system that World Athletics has now. Okay, look at this ranking system. Here's the women's 100. All right. World rank number 1 versus rank number 3. Like, it's something like that. We can have it like boxing or something like that. Oh, world rank number 2. World rank 1 and 2, or something along those lines. It doesn't have to say world rank. You could pump it up a little bit more. I'm pretty before. Wait a minute, it says it's not receiving data. Are you guys buffering or something? Hold on. Wait a minute, it says no data. Uh-oh. Hold up a second. Wait. Okay, I think you guys can see this, right? But is it buffering? This is... Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. I think we're back. But yeah. So, look, we can have the headlines here. Give me just, typically, somebody give me 5 minutes or so on these things, and I can go just like that. But because we don't have a real scenario right here, I'm not going to just be throwing out all of them. But it'll be some combination of world's fastest here and here. You could do it on the men's side, because quite frankly, like I said, there are still more people watching the men than the women. And I think if you separated UFC men and women, you'll see the same thing happen. You'll see the same thing happen. A lot of people will tell you this marketing. This is what I keep trying to tell y'all. One thing is marketing, right? Richardson got so much marketing, but the thing is, you get exposed in that. It's very easy to see. A lot of people will believe the marketing that more the women are the headline grabbers. That is completely incorrect. Unless you count Richardson as all of the women, she's the only woman that's really the headline grabber, if anything. But when you look at everything else, except for the 4x1, everything else got more views. Everybody else is grabbing more attention from every event. You look up Jacobs versus looking up Elaine Thompson-Herah. There are more people searching Jacobs than there are Elaine Thompson-Herah. Now, it could be for different reasons, but that could be. I'm just letting y'all know the facts here. And so when we break it down here, and that's not even with the person on the men's side that has a controversial figure. Right? There's not even anybody on the men's side that is a controversial figure. Imagine we get another controversial figure or somebody that just opens up their mouth to trash talk on the men's side. Then it's a runaway train. And then some of that will trickle down to the women. Because like with tennis is very similar in certain ways. There are certain sports. I think across the board in almost every sport, is going to be more people watching men than women. And like I've explained plenty of times, there are men that watch men that watch women that watch men, and less women watch women. That's part of the reason being. Some of it is the size difference, like in WNBA, the skill difference, the entertainment factor. Now, if you can start, women's volleyball is an exception under there. Tennis is one of the sports that blended the males and the females together in such a way that it's basically like, all right, we can have both of them there, and it's about equal influence, if not slightly on one gender more than the other one every once in a while, right? They blended it together where you don't mind seeing the men and the women on playing tennis. If track and field ever separated itself, it will be very hard to watch women go back to that. I've heard this across the board in a lot of behind the scenes with men and women. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch women. So some people said it's like watching paint dry. And I was like, whoa, that's a thing. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because if you want to market this here, you need to keep the men and the women together. Because as soon as you start separating it too much, and if it backfires, then what's going to happen is most likely the women are going to suffer. So if somebody has a production company, they're going to have to be able to do Elaine Thompson-Herah and whoever's on this list, and they got to do this. They got to go over to the male side, and we need to have the male draw as well. You can't do one without the other because that's an experiment you don't want to happen. I'm just letting you know. That's an experiment you literally do not want to happen. Here's the event right here. So, here it is. How do we get this? We need somebody. Trayvon Bromell is boring. God dang it, he's boring. The man don't got no attention to him. I'm like, he's out there. I understand from the athlete's perspective. I really do. I really do. They're out here like, yo, I'm struggling to make this thing, whatever. Trayvon Bromell, I'm going to need you to start bragging. I don't care what the blowback might be to you. You ain't going to lose no sponsors from that. You might get joked around and trash talked on a little bit, but you the world's fastest man. You should have been doing that earlier this year. Now, I can see if you got the Olympic gold and then you started trash talking after, because then you like, okay, I earned it. But what happened to the up-and-comer that hasn't proven anything yet? Oh, wait a minute. That's Richardson. But what happened to the up-and-comer that hasn't proven anything yet that's a little bit of a trash talker? We don't see that right here. We don't see it right here. The next closest person we got is Christian Coleman, and he looks like he could be the person that starts something controversial. But he might not. He has the face to me and the body type that he could look like. I would believe that if he came out there and he started opening his mouth and he started trash talking, I'd be like, yep, that fits him personally, perfectly from me. And then Lisa Blackman said, that's true, ATR. John McEnroe made tennis exciting due to his court antics. Yeah, dude was out there being an entertainer. That's what I would do. Like, people don't understand that. This is what I get people to do. I already planned out what I would do the next time I do a live track and field meet. I'm gonna wear a freaking not a bucket hat, but one of the cowboy hats, just like what's his name? Because I've done it a couple of times. I wear my suit like I normally do. I always wear my 2 different color shoes. I always have a black and a white. And if so, I'm a color coordinate my suit. And then if I'm live PA announcing and somebody breaks a meet record, I'm gonna be on the other side of the track and I'm going to run and say, oh my goodness. I'm gonna freaking do a flip and jump, and then I'm gonna run straight up to him. Well, I can't flip, so I'm gonna do a cartwheel, and I'm gonna just do something. I'm gonna throw the cap on the ground. Like, oh my goodness. I remember sometime in 2013 or something. Maybe it was 2014. I was like, wait a minute, I'm a freaking entertainer. I'm part of the entertainment. And people came out to track meets because they knew I was there. So this is what the athletes got to do. Like, they should not allow the announcer to outshine them. They should be outshining me. But I already know what I'm going to do when I go to my next track and field meet if I decide to do it. I'm not doing it because I can make more money doing other stuff. But if I come out to one of the meets, that's what I'm going to do. Somebody breaks a record, I'm going to be like, oh my goodness. I'm going to be extremely entertaining. The people going to look at me. They probably going to forget about who just broke the record. They going to come looking at me, but I'm going to make sure I put the mic in front of them. Like, I'm going to and do that, whether it's youth or anything else. So that's the thing that people got to realize. I was able to be an entertainer as an announcer. So there is no excuse that these athletes that are busting their butt can't be an entertainer at least after they win or leading up to it. What's the build up for it? Nothing. There's no build up. I do not got a build up for Trayvon Bromell. He does not help me with that. What is he talking about beforehand? Nothing. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm training and working hard. Okay, you sound just like stock factory issued track and field athlete. They come out of the assembly line. Here we go. Ain't you one of the fastest people in history? So you telling me you can't brag even if you lose? I like when Johan Blake started feeling himself a little bit for one season. He only had like the best of the best. Unfortunately, he had the injury that he suffered. And then he trained too hard and didn't allow his body to relax. That's what was his problem. But he started feeling himself for just a little bit, and then it didn't work out. But oh well, it got him more fans. I became more of looking at not Trayvon Bromell, Johan Blake, because of what he did. And then I was like, oh, I clowned him a little bit before, and then I got over it. But I was just like, oh, okay. But that's part of the thing. That's part of the thing. Let me read the comments now. The Frank Watt said, I reckon Christian Coleman could be that controversial figure. He has been outspoken before. Another goal next year, and I think he could be a breakout star. Lisa Blackman said, I think Christian Coleman and Noah Lyles are going to be the trash talkers. Oh, my goodness. That would be great. I agree with both of y'all. Ferdinand said, oh, hello, coach. Hello, Lisa. Hey, Ferdinand, shout out to you in South Africa. Cam said Noah Lyles used to do flips and dance right after he won a race. Yeah, I think he's starting to chill out a little bit. But he said he's like a Super Saiyan or something like that. He'll do the Kamehameha and stuff. I was like, you know what? It stands out even if people don't. Some people said they hate when he screams beforehand. And I'm going to tell y'all something here. The track and field league, the animated track races that I'm going to do, I'm going to have, before they start, I'm going to over-exaggerate all types of stuff. I'm gonna try to do it comedically. It may not work, it may, but that's where I'm going to do more than one. I'm going to try something. Before they start, I'm going to have them scream. Like Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, she going to come out, she going to be like, ah! Right before she starts a race, I'm going to have her scream like she did in 2019, except lightning going to come out of her. If she going to do that, and they going to be like, it is Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, and then lightning comes out. Like, this is an animated race. This ain't just going to be a race where y'all just see the people go back and forth. That's boring to me. Like, do something else. They might be goofy. If I have Usain Bolt up there, he's doing this stuff, but he's over-exaggerating. Like, do something else. If I can do it in an animated way, there's some version of you can do that in real life that won't take away from your race. right? That's what they got to do. So Noah Lyles doing that, that makes them stand out. That's good, especially if you can follow up and win, right? So the Frank Watts said Cravon Gillespie threw shade at his 4x1 teammates via a video. Oh yeah, that's why somebody didn't you ask me to roast him? Somebody asked me to roast Cravon, but then I didn't catch that. That's what he had did at the time, so I didn't roast him. But yeah, Fred and Trayvon responded via another video. I don't know why they didn't set up a press conference for them at pre. Could have been big. Oh yeah, exactly. You know what? That's a missed opportunity. See, I'm telling y'all, if I'm running the track and field league, I guess some people don't like this part. But if I'm running the track and field league, this is what's going to happen. Look, I'm going to come out and I'm going to be pumping. I guess I can't directly promote it, right? But I'm going to be like, look, y'all got to do what y'all got to do. If y'all start some controversy, you know, I ain't telling you to just start it, but if y'all do it, y'all do it. Like, I know I can't directly. I don't think I could. That might be integrity thing or something like that. But hey, look, man, people do stuff behind the scenes all the time in these leagues. If y'all think the NBA just playing as the NBA is or whatever, just like when they caught one of the refs talking to Mike saying, "Hey, I didn't see it, but because you said it, all right," and they called a foul on somebody or whatever it was, or even in the NFL game when the mic was still on by accident. And they changed the play based on something else. And it's like, wait a minute, they didn't follow the rules here. Exactly. When you get refs into place, the ref can determine a lot of stuff. I mean, refs have changed games, touchdowns that happened. They didn't happen because a ref said it wasn't. And it was clear. It was clear that it was a touchdown, clear that it was a field goal, clear of a whole bunch of different things. And yet they couldn't do what they needed to do. Right? They couldn't do what they needed to do, right? Because of those things. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they need to hold on just a second, guys. Okay, yeah, here we go. Sorry about that. I had a knock on my door here. But yeah, they said, I saw what Cravon did, but he got dusted at Prefontaine. Lisa Blackman said. But yeah, this is what we need. So this is where it comes down to, look, the escape velocity is going to be the athletes that actually can make a name for themselves. Bracy, remember, he did football before he came back in the track and field. You know why? He needed to make sure he get paid. Marvin Bracy. Now, people be clowning Marvin Bracy, but I don't think he necessarily stands out, though, to be honest. Right? I don't think Bracy necessarily stands out in a way, right? So, but this man went and got his money, right? He went and got his money and then came back in. And now he's starting to run a little bit more consistently. Running a little bit more quickly. But the thing is, where is his standout here? So he made sure he got his money, but he ain't going to be the athlete to stand out. We need somebody on the men's side. And you know what? Vorholm, Ferdinand, you just brought up Vorholm. You know what irritates me about this Joker, man? This guy comes up and whines and complains that Rob Benjamin got a quote-unquote super shoe. You working with Puma / F1 racing with Ferrari, and you ain't telling them to make you the best shoe ever? No. And he's saying, I want to do that. Man, you got a carbon plate in your shoe too. You telling me that F1 Ferrari and what Puma's doing, they don't have a slightly better carbon plate than Nike could do, right? But you said I want it to be more recognizable with the older times. Nah, I'm going to get the best shoe possible. Matter of fact, Puma make the best shoe. I'm going to wear it. Vorholm don't want to wear it. Let me wear the shoe. I want to not only burn everybody else, I want to blow them out. Maybe he's saving all of these upgrades he could do in this shoe for when he naturally slows down later in his career. Now, that could be something. That would be crazy. If he's like, yo, I'm not going to put these carbon plates. I want to have as most natural shoe as possible. Give me a little carbon, but don't give me the max that you could give me. Because when I start slowing down later and I start losing, I could just put this in and I'm going to start winning again. Maybe that's what his booster pack could be. If these shoes do actually influence what they do, then shoot, I could do that. Right? I could, if I were him, I could do that, right? But I think what Karsten needs to do at this point, he needs to brag. He's been undefeated for like 40 races in a row. Come here and start bragging. The Americans can't beat me. They wish they could beat me. That's all he got to do. The Americans wish they could beat me. The Americans wish that they could beat me and break this world record. And even at their best, they can't do it. Like, where is it at? Gosh dang it, I want to freaking take one of them and just shake them. That's what I want to do. I want to just shake them. Like, come on, dude. The only thing that could backfire, I guess, is if you lose. Now you become the laughing stock. But at the end of the day, you got, and the thing is, if you put the fire out, you got to expect the fire to come back to you. See, that's the thing with Richardson. Ferdinand said, Vorholm also has his own style. Hence, I like the more quick and beautiful athletes like Shanae Miller-Weibo. I can imagine her being cocky, and the naughty attitude fits Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. Yeah. Wait a minute. The Francois said Ferdinand, Shanae Miller-Weibo allegedly beat up Tori Bowie. Miller definitely has a personality. LOL. Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. I'm not trying to laugh at it. It just kind of seems funny. Wait, what? She beat up Tori Bowie. What the heck she beat up Tori Bowie for? This is like what Sharika Jackson and Stephanie Ann McPherson was getting into almost got into a fight. See, this is what we need. Like, wait a minute. Okay, I'm finna make a whole video out of this. I'm about to do some research on this. This is the type of stuff. This is the type of stuff that we need. Like, no offense to all of that. See, if y'all like, if y'all ain't gonna do it, I'd rather talk about this than to talk about somebody got drug busted. In all honesty, I'd rather just talk about people fighting and be like, "Yo, what the heck happened between here?" Than to talk about a drug bust and be like, "Oh, track and field is so pure." Like, get out of here. Get out of here. I'd rather talk about that. Now, if I had to choose, I still wouldn't want to talk about a fight. But if there's nothing else to talk about and we gonna talk about something, yeah, I'll talk about that. You know what I do like here in the men's 800? This is what I do like. Where is he at? Where is he at? Is he ranked in that top list? No, I don't think so. He wasn't doing well this year. Y'all know who I'm about to talk about? Oh, dang. He's way down here. Or did I miss him? Here it is, Donovan Brazier. Dang, he ranked number 57 this year. Gosh, dang. You know what happened after he lost? He was like, yeah, I should have done this. So wait a minute. Tori Bowie spoke about that she got beat up? Dang. Well, it take you some guts to say you got beat up by her, unless he was trying to make her look bad. But nah, you know what? Shanae Miller-Weibo does look like the type that'll be fighting. She looked like she could throw some hands. Like, I'm like, look, I know some people that look model-esque like her, and they be like, oh, whatever. And then you try to do something to them, and they be like, all right, bet. But Donovan Brazier, he said, I already know I'm the number one. I'm like, there we go. In one way, I was like, man, he over here a little bit too braggy. But then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Yeah. But it gave me a reaction. I'm like, dude, you just lost. You didn't even make the team. And you still over here talking. That was my initial reaction. My initial gut reaction. That's good. Because I had an emotional reaction there. So Donovan Brazier over here did not make it. He's world champion. He didn't make it this year. Turns out he was that injured. He didn't want to talk about it. He said, look, it was something that I should have been able to get over. I had known better. I should have been able to handle it. He didn't come into a race with a plan, which I was like, I criticized him heavily for that. But this man, he's still over here at least being a little bit more cocky. I was like, man, he needs to take the next step and talk about the other 800 runners. Come back next year as defending world champion and start talking about the other 800 runners. But my buddy said, the more if I wouldn't do it in any event where you got to share the lane with other runners. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. If you got to share it with them, they might, spit on you, trip you up, all types of things. One might take one for the team just so you won't win. And they'll fall over and break out in the fight with you. I still would do it. I don't care. I still would go in those interviews. Yeah, I know I'm the number one. And I'll be all nice to them behind the scenes and stuff. I'll be nice to them while I'm running with them. I'm like, hey, whatever. Understand, I'm just, I got to hype myself up, man. You got to hype myself up. But I still would be talking. I mean, Mo Farah responded to some of it. But he wasn't outwardly. That's what we need. That's what we need. Lisa Blackman said, LMAO, yes, I heard she mollywopped Tori Bowie. See female athletes square up a lot. Hey, look, it's the catty nature. It's the catty nature. I would not be surprised if somebody took Richardson's trash talking too seriously and they decided to swing on her there. Now, the bad part about that is if they did it in front of everybody else, it don't make the women look good at all. It just, especially if they're black, that ain't good. That's not what I would like to see. Now, especially with that. Now, if it was some men doing it and they're black, it's different because it's like, oh, it's the high testosterone, the guys, the trash talking or whatever. And then you could but if it's the women that do it, they'll call them ghetto. They'll call them hood rat. Like the men, they'll be like, oh, look, it's black men doing it. That's what they'll say at the very least or something like that. But you won't even have it where it's, I guess, the worst terms that you could do. Because you would say hood rat, ghetto, and all of that stuff. Let's see. The Ferdinand said he'll look it up. The Francois said, yes, stop the drug bust news. Quietly stop testing athletes. Imagine the heat in this Olympics if Coleman and Nasser could compete. Ayana Brown Miller went ham on Bowie. Yeah. So as far as that, I don't know about stop drug testing because, I mean, that's the thing that they do across the board. And some things are illegal in different countries, like HGH. So I understand those things are necessary. And I don't know if there's a way to completely get out of it because that's sports got to do drug testing. You can delay it in some ways like the NFL and NBA did for a while. But then Congress got to them in the NFL. The Congress, they had to testify in front of Congress, I think 2 or 3 times about what they were going to do about drug testing. So there's some things that you have to just do because they're illegal. Now, maybe you're like, hey, don't drug test for anything that's not illegal for that nation. I can see what you're saying there, but some of the things they're going to have to. Now, when it comes down here to wrap this up, because I'm going to end this pretty soon, we're at about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Thank you all for coming out. Let me shout out to the people that have contributed via Cash App, PayPal, anybody that if you have done crypto, if you haven't, okay, oh well, And one thing here, I would like to say this. Guys. We're going to do our animated races, all right? We're going to do our animated races. So if you guys would, go to the description box, become the number 1 tier. You don't got to do the number 2 tier. I understand that's more money a month. But if you would like to support that, I just ask you guys to be a number 1 tier. Or if you just contribute via Cash App, Chime Sign, or PayPal or something like that. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do these animated races. And I did ask y'all, what would y'all like to see? Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen here. Here's the one, patreon.com/HeadAndShouldersATR, all one word. While that's on the screen, let's bring up what I want to do with the animated races. Now, this is an example. This is not my artwork, by the way. Right? This is not my artwork. But here, look at this. I was going to do something. You see how this is? Now, this isn't going to be the exact artwork. It's actually going to look more human. But if I am going to do, I'm going to do 2 versions, I think. One is going to look similar to this, whereas the pixelated, animated type of thing like this. And that might be an NFT, actually. And then there's going to be one where it's more detail oriented and drawn in, where it shows the body and everything. But the problem with that is, if I do that, I wonder if they could just come after people for likeness of character and whatnot. But if I keep it more animated, like South Park, they don't have to ask permission for Kanye West or anybody else that they feature, because it's a parody. And so what I would do is make it a parody. That's why it's going to be a little bit over the top and everything. So that's the thing that we're going to do here. But if you guys want to support the creation of something like this, I just ask that you guys go over to the Patreon. It's in the description of every video. There's been a couple of people that become YouTube or a member of YouTube. And then also here, we got the Cash App and PayPal on the screen. The email that I have here, that's the PayPal donation right there. And I appreciate everybody that comes out when these videos come out. And I'm actually starting to get people, when they see a regular video of mine, and they're like, man, I like this information. Here's a Cash App. Here's a PayPal donation. And I'm very appreciative. Like I said, I don't want to, I guess, I don't know the word for it. I'm very appreciative to everybody that does that, because these streams are brought to you by people like you, especially Athletics and Chill. These are some of the lower viewed videos in general. So I appreciate you guys. That was my short commercial break. That was my short non-commercial commercial break. Now back to the regularly scheduled programming right here. So if we get 5 people or so, that would be great. Here we go. Let's see. They said they could see Sharika swinging. Yeah, man. I saw Sharika in the 2017 World Championships in the 400. And before that, I was like, this all black makes her look like, you know how certain colors can make you look more aggressive? And she was just kind of there. She wasn't smiling or nothing like she normally do. And I was like, with her hair, however, the wig that she had on, I was like, yeah, you know what? I could see her swinging. I saw that just yesterday. I was like, huh. She doesn't look aggressive necessarily. It's just the all black. And then y'all said, y'all see, they said, nah, Sharika too calm. I see Elaine swinging. D'Angelo said, they. But regardless of this, regardless of they swinging or not, we don't need them to be breakout people doing that, all right? We need more people. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one of them. We need more people not to be like this. That's how they get their name. We don't need Blessing Okabare here. We need the 5-foot giant to come back strong. And we need her to recover the flame. I wish I could have reached out to her before, because there's some marketing I want to do with some of these people. And they could really pump this stuff up. Like when a wig fell off, like she could have turned that around to something else. She could have came out with a hairline right there. She could have came out with a hair and cosmetics line right there shortly after that wig scenario. She's buying wigs to selling wigs. Like that could have been there. And that could have been a moneymaker. Now, that wouldn't have transcended the sport or anything unless it became really big. But she could have done something like that. She could have capitalized with her doing that. Elaine Thompson Hero, she could capitalize on, as she wins more titles, she somehow gets more tattoos. As time goes on, it's like she getting tattooed all up. I see her in 2016, 2015. Where the tattoos at? Or 2015. I'm like, dang. And then I see now, I'm like, I guess it wasn't my eyes. If she's getting more tattoos as time goes on. So she could capitalize on that if she could reach a larger audience, because a lot of the nations have tattoos now. So she can reach out beyond it. But like I said, we went over everything here. At this point, I think we've covered everything. Thank y'all for coming out. Let's see. I'm going to do one more thing here. Let's go back here quickly. This is what I ultimately want to see. I want to see when they say the highest paid athletes, sure, they could still be soccer players. They're going to cover that. Conor McGregor. Oh, dang. He made more money this year than some of the soccer players? Gosh, dang. Was there a Conor McGregor fight this year? I guess it was. I don't be watching those things like that or following. I know a lot of y'all do, but like I said, sports to me, it's either here nor there. I got things that I want to do with countries, building up facilities and all of that stuff. I am going to be involved with sports because of this YouTube channel, more than likely, and some of the things I want to do. But for me, like this YouTube channel can reach out to somebody like me. I can see myself coming to listen to somebody talking like this. So it helps me. But I want to see track and field athletes coming up here. Tom Brady in football. Okay, that's nice. Jan. Okay. Naomi Osaka. All right, whatever. That's why I whatever. I want to see somebody athletics. Where are they at? Where are they at? Russell Westbrook. Track and field is so synonymous with world sports. The problem with track and field is this, and this might be our next video topic. Let me know. Anybody that's part of Patreon, you can come up with video topics, by the way. Look, if we got too many sports in track and field. It's too many. Really. 100, 1,500. Some of the field events, pole vault is very popular, so I would keep that. Not even from my own bias. We keep the 4x1 because that's an entertaining thing. Maybe I would drop the 4x4 personally. Because yeah, that might be something that USA is dominant in. I might keep it just because if it's a track and field league in the USA, I'm keeping 4x4 because that's a thing with the USA. I'm surprised Jamaica can't be more dominant in that, in all honesty. But oh yeah, that's what happened in 2017, right? With that fight that broke out with them, and then they had to replace one of the runners, and then that runner winded up pulling a hamstring or something in the race, and then Jamaica just was not there competing with the USA, and then it was like, yo, USA about to just run away with it. That was a shame. But Kathy Freeman, yeah, I remember her. She had a standout right there. I remember what she was trying to represent as well with the Aborigines, and she was able to make a standout statement in some ways. I think it fell on deaf ears right after that, though. It was kind of like oh yeah, that's cute, and then it was done. It's like those people that really hate you, but then they all clap for you at the moment when you're there, but they hate while they clapping you. See, that's the type of thing. I don't care if people like me. All you got to do is really respect me. That's the only thing. I demand respect. When it comes down to it, I don't care if you like me. Somebody liking you, they could cheat on you. Your husband and wife could love you and cheat on you. That's a lack of respect. Like y'all already know with me, I ain't going to have to cheat on nobody because they all know that I'm going to deal with multiple women. All right? Right. They're going to know that if I have a wife, I'm going to have more than one. I think in most places, I think it's illegal. So I have to go to Kenya or something like that. But if I have a girlfriend, I might happen to have one now, but I don't have to keep a secret for somebody. That's respect, right? Somebody could like you or hate you and not respect you. I just don't care if somebody likes me or not. Okay, this is what I want y'all to remember as athletes or anybody. Somebody that respects you commands and demands a certain level of action. You respect your government because if you don't respect the government, they come up there and they lock you down, right? Because if you didn't respect the government, you would go out there regardless of anything. They put the gun up on you. They put you to $50,000 fine, like what's happening in in Jamaica. In certain areas of the USA, they got extreme lockdown measures. Like that's a level of respect. You might not even like your government, right? But you dang Skippy gonna respect them. And there's certain things that you're going to do out of that level of respect. All right. Lisa Blackman said, "Oh Lord, ATR," and then DeFrancois said, "Wait, what?" Hey, look, I say this on every stream. Y'all surprised now? Y'all must not have heard it on the last one. Look, I'm gonna have more if I decide to. Now, it's already a headache dealing with a single woman, but hey, dealing with more than one, and I'm not doing it because I'm one of those guys. Oh, I need more than one. No, this will be a community building thing. Like that. That's what that would be. But yeah, they will know that I'm gonna exercise my ability to do that, and so they gonna know. I'm not gonna lie to them. But hey, let me get back on topic here. But you need to command respect. That's the only thing that does that. And the only way you respect me is because somebody said I went left. This ain't going left. No, this ain't going left. If anything, this is going back to tradition. Look throughout the history and you see most people are polygamous. Most men are polygamous and whatnot. So at least the higher tier men. You like Nigeria a lot. The Freakwa said, you are going to have a great time there. Polygamy is legal. Hey, look, the Nigerians love me. The Nigerian women love me. I say it like that. But anyway, let me get back up on you. This is funny. Y'all going to be like, wait a minute. I knew it. I knew it. They said I'm a fool. But look. So, look, all you got to do is command respect here. Look, if you, people need to just respect. If you don't like this channel, you don't like me, I think I'm going to have a hater stream. I'm going to unblock some of the people. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop blocking people. Because I'm going to need the haters to come back. Because they still be coming on. They just make a new account. That's all it is. But when they say some other stuff, when they say some disgusting stuff about Richardson and stuff, that's the people I started blocking. I'm like, okay. The other people, only if they did something in the chat. But if you don't like me, you can respect me. And if you respect me enough that you come here and you hate watch all the time for the people that don't like it, right? They come here and respect me enough that they're going to listen to what I'm saying. They're going to come here and they respect it enough to react and give me a dislike. That mindset is why you're single. You're going to have to come off them dollars. No, you're assuming, number one, that I am single. Number two, I don't have to come out no dollars at all. That's just what we got to do in general or and whatnot as guys. And then also, also a man being single and a woman being single are two different things, completely different things. But we ain't gonna get into that one. That's a different topic. And then Miss Nelly said, keep a block. Some people are sick. Yeah, some people are. Now, the ones, if I can remember who they are, some of them got blocked in the chat because they were saying some stupid stuff and I blocked them. But I'm going to have a hater thing. Oh, yeah, matter of fact, they could still be blocked. They could just call in. I'm going to have a hater session where they're going to call in. Oh. I might be single. I might not be single. I could be single. Who knows? Hey, look. I'm single, but I'm not single. Isn't that what y'all be saying these days? Isn't that what people say? There's like, I'm single, but I'm not. That's what many of the women be like. I'm single, but I'm not. I'm talking to somebody. Like, y'all bogus for that. Y'all dirty for that. When a woman tells me that, I'm done. I don't take her seriously. That ain't. I don't like that type of character. But me over here joking, I am single. But there are people trying to get me to not be single. I'll tell you that. So I'm single because I am choosing to be single here because I got some things to build. But trust me, there are some suitors here. But anyway, yeah, you just got to have people respect you. That's all. That's all. Because they're going to respect you. They're going to come out in support, whether they hate you or not. Right? That's all that we need here. So anybody else got any questions? Do y'all have, at the end of this, do y'all want me to bring up another topic? Y'all got any topic ideas here? If you do, definitely come up on that Patreon. Or if you wanted to contribute us via Cash App or PayPal, you can also suggest a topic, and then I'll take that into consideration and do that. Because there are two topics that I'm actually going to come out with pretty soon. Because the people that come out and support the channel, I will give a priority to them. Because, hey, you're supporting the channel. You doing that. And obviously, you're supporting all as well in different ways through the like button, through commenting and everything and whatnot. So, yeah. So, that's the thing. The little Missy Miss said, I changed my mind. I won't marry you because I'm not sharing. LOL. Hey, it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is, man. They said, Miss Nelly said, did you see Elaine's letter sent to... Hey, I'm going to give us about 5 or 6 more minutes, and then I'm going to end it off here. So now we're a little bit off topic a little bit, but hey, it is what it is. We got a family here. It's Athletics and Chill. We do this. If y'all want to call in, you can call in. I'll extend it a little bit longer, but there it is. Miss Nelly said, did you see Elaine's letter sent to Jamaican Gleaner? Actually, let me look that up now. No. If anybody want to send me an email with that, I can. Let's see. Man, Larry, why they got Christopher Reeves up here? Okay, let's see. Jamaican Gleaner. Elaine Letter. Let's see if that pops up anywhere. Letter of the day. Our people are the strength of our legacy. Huh? No, I don't know what it is. I think that's the name of the Jamaica paper. But I don't know what the letter is, so I don't know. She get the running from me, says Elaine's father, Keith Thompson. So I don't know. It said do a video on it later. I heard it leaked, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, I may or may not. I kind of don't want to cover that controversy. I did it a little bit because, or a little bit of some of the stuff the other day. Some things I just don't. But when I saw this other one, I was like, let me get ahead of this one. Because even if it is true, well, in some ways, some people's lives are affected. And I can see why they would want to release this thing now. But without any associated information on what I covered the other day, I'm like, that's a just dirty rumor. And I don't want people to get used to just because you heard something, it must be true because it looks like they will be the person. I don't care if that's Richardson, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, freaking Joe Biden. If you don't have that, unless you're just doing a joke or something, but somebody spreading it for a platform like myself to spread that out as if it's true, that's just completely inappropriate. That's why I covered it that way. Typically, when this individual shares something with me within a couple of hours or within a couple of days, that same information gets blasted upon these other YouTube channels or in an article. I've noticed the pattern now. A lot of times, I just don't cover certain things because I don't want to cover that. Like a lot of the doping thing. Like there are people that covered Lamont Jacobs, right? And they were talking about how he's a doper, a potential doper. He's working with other ones. Like, I thought that was highly inappropriate because, okay, so what? Was there anything recent that came out? If not, then there is absolutely, there is absolutely no reason for anybody to come out and talk against him at all. I gotta watch my fish tank. I got one of these fish in here eating my snails, and I might have to take them out. But anyway, with that, it's just inappropriate. Unless there was new information, then you're starting a rumor. That's a character assassination in some ways. It might seem all nice and stuff, and it's nice and whatnot, but unless you say it's directly a rumor and whatnot, that one is like, okay, this was months ago. And people running with that stuff. And so when you are out here doing that, that's showing a lack of integrity on your end, not just on the other person. Because unless there was something of direct evidence, sure, this is one thing. Track and field athletes know more or less who's using what typically, right? Because they always go in interviews. Yeah, these people around me are on drugs and stuff and whatever. And they complain about it a lot. They whine and complain. Unless you're willing to tell somebody, then it's no use of you saying the other people are on drugs. There is literally no use. Are you about to come up off who exactly is using it? Do you know exactly who's using it, sir or madam? Okay, if you don't, shut up. That's basically what it is, right? So, but the thing is that unless it's productive, then it's no use of us talking about it. And so I talked about Blessing Okabare, about some things that might have surrounded her, right? In hindsight, I should have left it alone. Even with the secondary test coming through. Well, actually, I shouldn't have left that alone. The secondary test came through. I said I was going to do a follow-up. But if I never covered it initially about her potentially being targeted, I wouldn't have actually come up and did the Blessing Okabare video. I wouldn't have done that. I would have just completely ignored it. And the reason being is because it's kind of unnecessary. It's kind of unnecessary. I don't get off by somebody being a drug cheat. Matter of fact, I think it's a shame that they did. I think it's a shame that Marion Jones here was a drug cheat, right? That she got caught too, right? This is just an example of another form of cheating. You can cheat in a relationship, don't get caught, and then other things happen, right? That's the way I look at it. People cheat in relationship, on tests, on their diets, in video games, and all types of stuff. So I just look across the board and say that is just, I mean, that's what people are gonna do, right? So I'm not gonna trash talk Marion Jones. Now, Richardson, if she comes out as a drug cheat, depending on what she was saying ahead of time, I'm going to clown her. But aside from, I'm going to clown her a little bit, but I'm not going to go ham. Now, I'm going to clown her in a way that it's going to be funny. But beyond that, I am going to take a moment in the middle of clowning her and say, oh, yeah, by the way, this is her. This is unfortunate and everything. But let's not go to her personally, right? Let's not do this personally, because I just can't personally stand that. I can't stand that. And I don't like when people do that. The Francois said Jacobs was treated so bad. I don't know why people want an athlete written off so bad. He may come off. He may come out and shock everyone next year. Yeah, you know what? I was actually surprised. Now, I was surprised that some people were covering that he might be a drug cheat or something might be there. And I thought of it like, is this butthurt American stuff that we got people covering stuff like that? Or is this people wanting to do that? Because I'm like, okay, the USA didn't win. And we expected the USA to win. But why are we coming after Jacobs? And it's not one particular YouTube channel. Before y'all think I'm talking about Raise Take, I'm going to just say that directly. I'm actually talking about more than just him, right? But I am including that in there a little bit because I was actually surprised. I'm like, well, that's kind of bogus. But I didn't listen to the video. I just saw the title and everything. So I don't know the details. So I can't speak on that. But if it's anything like what some of the other people did and some of the articles that were coming out there. And also, I don't like when some of the people come here and talk negatively about them. I could just imagine some of the people go over to Raise Take and his live streams talk negatively about me. I don't want to hear when somebody else is coming from another stream and talking negative. I can appreciate when y'all say, hey, I like your stream better than somebody else's. But when you start calling somebody like they call him a nobody and everything, that I don't take that. This is where I'm getting serious. And then I guess I'm out after the next few minutes. But the thing here is, getting back on topic to this, I was surprised that some people decided they wanted to cover Jacobs in that way. He might have something, right? But did his test samples come back negative? It's like Marion Jones. Her stuff didn't come there. What do I look like saying, oh, she's got to be on the juice? Okay, everybody could be on the juice. Unless I got the evidence, I am not about to do that. Unless I got firm evidence of somebody doing something, then I got it. There have been people that sent me emails of certain things, and I decided not to cover it. I'm not going to do that. Sure, she turned out she was a drug cheat in the end. Okay, well, that was found out because of some details. But, oh no, I am not going to come out and just tear up her character. No, I'm not going to do that. It's not right of me to do that. They said, the Francois said, I respect you as an American, but so many were salty with Jacobs. Yeah, a lot of people were. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that he got torn down. He was unfortunately in that. Let me put this back up here. And this is where I'm going to end on this last point. So it's unfortunate that Jacobs got torn down and that he was the unfortunate whipping boy. Same thing that happened to Justin Gatlin in some ways. It's like, hey, you've been clean for this long, or as at least for what we can detect in our systems, right? All you can go on is the best evidence. Unless you can catch somebody, what's the point? That means there is no such thing as law and order. The only thing that you can do is what you can prove. To be honest, that's the best system we got. Why would you take somebody in if you can't prove it? In that case, I can accuse anybody of anything, And at my word, at my emotional plea, at my cries, at my voice, my platform, and just my word alone can destroy you. It shouldn't be like that. And so I don't want to be the person that I unintentionally destroy somebody because of my platform. Now, if I got proof and y'all just don't want to agree with it, and when I say y'all, I mean usually the people that hate this channel, or in some cases, we're not going to agree all the time. But if I got the proof as the best evidence that I got, then I'm going to put out that information. That's all I can do, right? And if it turns out I missed something, that's one thing. But if it turns out I just ran with something, because I missed something on the Johan Blake, on the video, is Johan Blake washed up, right? Remember that one? And a lot of people were there. I actually slipped my mind that he had that serious injury. So then I'm talking from the context of, yeah, I knew he had other injuries, but the one injury that he had that is one of those like almost career-ending ones, but he got over it. Now, I still was overall correct in the assessment of, I thought that he could be washed up, because washed up is a relative term based on the specific athlete you talk about. It's based on your top times, and it doesn't matter how you got washed up. It's just that you are, right? That's the thing. It doesn't matter if a person is intelligent or not, why they lost their intelligence. It's just that they are not, or they are intelligent. That's all that matters. When people are looking at the history books, they will not remember that Johan Blake had a serious injury. They will remember that he had one season that he was one of the fastest in the world. He had one where he won in the 100. They might forget that Usain Bolt false started, but it doesn't matter for the history books. So that's why I say I'm going to use the best evidence that I got. And if I make a mistake along the way, those are the mistakes. And I try to correct them like I did the pin post in the comment section. But I'm not going to just run with somebody and just rip them apart. That's one thing. So Jacobs, hopefully he's not dirty, because that'll be unfortunate. And if he is, I'm going to let y'all know this here. If Jacobs is truly dirty, that is going to be a coincidence. I don't give no credit to anybody that said here. You know why? Because I can scream every single person is dirty, and eventually I'll be right. I can say all of this stuff and I'll eventually be right. Like people were accusing me saying, oh, you said everybody was going to win at the Olympics, so that's why you're right. And I was like, no, I was talking from a coach's perspective of how these are. I've only made a few concrete statements, which was Shelly Ann Fraser-Price was going to win the 100. And then I changed my mind when Elaine Thompson-Herah ran a 10:71 on that slow track. And then I said, okay, now it's flipping. And then we did that joke prayer for right before that she should do that. And I was still a little bit uncertain. But I said it's in favor of Elaine. And then I said it's a chance that Talu could do something, even though it was a far-fetched one. And then I said that Shericka Jackson will win the 200. That was funny. And then she got herself out of it. So there was a couple of them. But aside from those two, everything else, we pretty much been spot on. The 400s on the men and women's side, I was wrong on the 400 hurdles. I really wanted Dalilah Muhammad to win personally, but I thought she could win non-personally. I thought she actually could have taken it back. And then up, so on and so forth. I could go down the list. But yeah, with that being said, like I said, I'm ending it here. Thank you guys for coming out to episode number 5. We're going to have the next one sometime during the week. I might push it up to Wednesday, but it looks like more people are available on Saturday. So we might actually just start doing these on Saturday. Friday evenings, people come out in large droves, but not for athletics and chill. It's got to be, I guess, a bigger topic or something. Maybe it's controversial or whatnot. But I got some of my largest people to come out on Friday evening. So, but not for something like this. So we might just have it on Saturdays from now on, or Sunday morning. So the Frank Wise said, thanks. Don't forget, like I said, this broadcast is brought to you by, or this episode. This isn't a broadcast on this one. Most of my streams or most of my things are broadcast, but this one is an episode. I want this to be episodic. So this episode and all of these on Athletics and Chill, like I said, commercial, non-commercial break, are brought to you by viewers like you. If you would, I would appreciate if you guys become a contributor via PayPal, Cash App, and also on Patreon. That helps. Also, I have that NFT collection, and I don't know if y'all know, I don't want to do this as financial advice or you guys betting on it, but I'm just letting you guys know that are here. For NFTs, I used to question the phenomenon of how you buy this, but it's like a collectible baseball card. If you buy something and it goes through. So I have NFTs associated with my YouTube channel. I'm actually going to lower the price for them because I had some that were a few $1,000s or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm just going to have the price lower. Now they might go up in price later due to the YouTube channel continuously growing. And if you want to see that, it's OpenSea.io/collection/HNSATR, blah, 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 all of that. Go to OpenSea.io and then you just search Season 1 series. And that's where you find our thing. But other than that, you type it in on the screen right there. So I appreciate everybody that comes out every time I have a live stream. If you can't catch it on the live and you catch it on the replay, I appreciate you too. We've been out here for 2 hours strong. This is for everybody that's out there, whether you a truck driver, you in custodial work, whatever you're doing, you're on vacation, you at home, you even retired. This is for you for these long form ones where you want to have something to listen to that's chill, nice, concise, and we talking about solutions within track and field. I appreciate everybody that has come out to support. I will catch you all on the next one. You guys have a great rest of your day and evening.